Hello.
Shall I clap my hands?
Actually, you don't need to, but I need to check that you can hear Maya and that she can hear you.
I can hear you. I can't hear Maya at the
Maya,
moment.
can you say something?
Yes, I can hear you, and you should be able to hear me now.
I can hear you, Maya. Hello.
Hello. That was a bit of a faff.
This is a podcast in which two friends talk about the pleasures, absurdities, and imperfections of being human. I'm Simon Ellis.
And I'm Lee Miller. Welcome to Midlifing.
Anyway, we're all set now.
Okay, so Maya, just keep it keep it down for a. How do we want to do? So 2 weeks ago, maybe it was 3 weeks.
I got obsessed with remembering the story of Maya's in cyber.
But it's actually not Maya. It was
campaign.
Fatima, wasn't it?
It was, it was. But I always think, So it turns out I'm completely wrong. But
that's right. This was a government kind of push to get people who worked in the arts to start working in digital arenas. So Maya, that's what happened to you. Is that correct?
Let me think about how to put this in a way that keeps the nuance. Not quite. I wasn't the person in that campaign. I moved towards cyber work during COVID after doing digital security training and then realized I liked threat intelligence. For me, it wasn't a simple swap from one vocation to another. That's part of why the campaign stung for people. It's more that one path opened while another was paused, and it changed how I understood my own skills.
Right. You sound like you're working for the government there. What kind of dancer were you?
I danced contemporary for a long time, mostly with small companies, touring a fair bit, plus teaching and a bit of movement direction. I miss the rehearsal rooms, that collective focus, more than the performing, if I'm honest. The muscle memory doesn't quite leave. It just finds different outlets. No, I'd say it's more like redirecting instincts.
Sorry about us laughing, Maya. I think that we're being a little unprofessional, a little bit rude here.
You're all right. Laughter's part of the job, I suppose. I'd worry more if you went very solemn on me.
Yeah.
If anything, it keeps us from turning people into symbols, which is where things often go wrong.
Okay, Maya, do you think that we've jumped the shark?
I don't think you've jumped the shark. You're just wandering a bit.
Okay, Maya, I'm just going to interrupt. You can stop now. In fact, Simon.
Yep. Should we stop?
Yeah, I can't live with this
You get-
anymore.
so,
This is horrifying.
It's. So
Fair.
we should wait, Maya. So we should say. So shall I disconnect Maya? Should we just keep her on the call and you can stay silent, Maya?
Just give me a nudge if you want me back in.
Thanks, will do. Wow.
Yeah. So this was
Corbatron,
Yeah.
that is the most cursed thing that has happened to my ears.
So what has happened here, good listeners, is that our long-time listener of the show, David Corbetron, who is actually a doctor, also clearly has a passing interest. I think what happened is he got curious about the whole Maya turn to cyber thing, and so he trained. Maya knows quite a lot about midlifing. He trained on about 20 episodes of midlifing. Maya is trained, so we could ask her about midlifing and we'd get some aspect of that back to us. And then, so this is using what's called vibe coding to create effectively an AI that has been trained on a particular aspect and to be talk about particular things. So, and he offered this as an application to us to I don't know what.
I can still hear you, by the way.
Thanks, Maya. We know that you can still hear us. We're talking about you, not to you at the moment, which is rude.
But you're not real.
That's fine. I'll stay quiet unless you want me to jump back in.
Yeah, we'll
Zip it.
nudge you. Zipit.com.
Zipit.com.
That's Mike Myers.
It is.
www. Zip it.
Maya probably knew that. $1 million.
So what a strange thing.
Oh, that is odd. I mean, I think when we are joined by a third, when we open up our relationship, there's always a kind of a rhythm shift. But when that third is quite so explicitly
Electronic.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Cyber. So explicitly cyber.
Yeah, I think this makes me quite, to use a last week word, it makes me feel quite icky. Yeah.
Is it, what's that phrase that people talk about when things are not quite, they're not quite right? I mean, this is a long way from passing as human.
You mean the uncanny valley?
Yeah, like the uncanny valley, yeah.
Maybe it is a version of that. There's something about the smoothness of its ability to remember. I don't know if you ever feel that sometimes and it's particularly when I'm watching things on the television, not when I'm engaging with people in real life, when I see like an English or an Australian person being interviewed, there's lots of
yeah, or if that's the right word, I'm not quite sure. It's yes, right. You're talking about that's a cultural thing, though, isn't it?
Yeah, but when I see somebody from the US being interviewed, there's just such kind of fluency.
I've long admired that ability, actually, I have to say.
I similarly have been really sort of stumped by where that capacity comes from. And I think when I talk to folks from North America, I don't really usually experience them being quite that fluent. So there's an onness that they seem to be able to find in when they're being looked at, which I'm just like, wow, because I get so super self-conscious. Last week I was talking about the visit from the Office for Students and the assessors, and I was really aware that even though there was a fluency and a clarity, I hope, to some of my thoughts, there was also lots of
because I think of that as thinking.
Me too. I also had a moment where I heard myself go, and then my brain went, you just did a big pause. What would happen if you had a bigger one? And then all of the words in my head.
How long could this pause be?
My brain just went, how about, this is just an experiment, Lee. What if we was to just shit all of the words that you have in your head out of your ears? And we just leave them on your shoulders.
So let's just clarify the accent thing. Sorry, Maya, you didn't say where you're from. Can you tell us where you're from?
Manchester.
Manchester, the UK.
That's right.
Why do your accent not quite sound like it's a Northern English accent? Maya, why does your accent not sound like it's from Manchester? I think we might have offended.
Well, we might have upset her.
Let's avoid the accent conversation.
Yeah, I think that might have been a bridge too far.
A glitch too far, did you say?
No, I said a bridge. I wish I'd said a glitch too far. That would have been very eloquent. But you see, spirit of the staircase and all that lark. Yeah,
exactly. So, yeah, I mean, in a way, this is sort of proto-future, isn't it? I mean, well, it's not even. It's sort of going on now, AI-generated podcasts and that kind of thing. So I mean, maybe we've touched on this before. I'm so curious, and I love that Corbetron basically built this using vibe coding. So he was getting codecs to code it and following along, and then he got lost as well.
It was super sweet of him to give us Maya, who I'm speaking of, not to, just to be clear. But yeah, so just to before we. there feels to me something a bit different about an AI generated podcast, which I've made for topics that I wanted to have explained to me. Not because I wanted to not do the reading, but I was curious what it would sound like. And there's such unbridled enthusiasm in the people who, I think it's Google Notebook, isn't it, who do
Yes.
who do the job for you.
Yeah.
And they're just like, okay, so we're going to take this deep dive into it. Tell me more. This sounds amazing. And it really energizes any topic that you've got to find out about, because they're really so excited about everything, which I kind of love. And also every now and then, although it's smoothed out recently, but they used to just be like really weird little interruptions, like, "Ah!" which I quite enjoyed, where they'd be like super professional, and then all of a sudden one of them would make something that sounded like a chicken noise, which delighted me no end. But there's something a bit different between that and what we're doing, which is the human more than human interface.
There's something also I recognize as I hear you talking about a kind of taste thing, which is, if I think about the kind of art you tend to like, I think of you as someone who likes more like warts and all art. And by that I mean like forced entertainment, where they're kind of showing us they're working.
Yeah. I do like to, I think I've always enjoyed effectively the breaking of the fourth wall. I like a direct-to-camera address.
Yeah, and so I guess I mean, I know this is uber shiny because Maya's, liquid smooth, sort of slightly, the cadence, that sort of cadence which is non-human, is like it's like the opposite of that, isn't it? I mean, it's as inauthentic as you could get.
Yeah,
but I hope we're not
for
harshing
sure.
your buzz here, Corbetron. I hope you're not.
No, I think it's you were sort of coming to that idea of taste, and it's like why I hadn't thought about why I might find the fully AI generated podcast entertaining, because it falls in on itself.
Can I ask Maya a question here? Maya, what do you think about this conversation we've just been having?
It's been oddly revealing. You can feel the difference between something polished and something alive. And I suppose that tension is the point. You're testing what feels human and what doesn't by brushing up against the edges.
Maya, can I ask you, where does this sit in the pantheon of midlifing episodes that you've listened to? Is this a territory that feels familiar to you, or are we riffing on something new for you?
It feels adjacent to things you've circled before. Identity, work, the stories we tell about ourselves. But the way you've brought a synthetic voice into the room makes it stranger, a bit more exposed.
Thanks, Maya. I was having a conversation with somebody the other day about the idea of trauma. She said something. It wasn't traumatizing. And then she went, because obviously it wasn't traumatizing, because it's not a trauma. It was annoying. And we just both were having that moment of like, oh, that word has just sort of been co-opted, hasn't it?
It really has. It's actually unusable. It's trivialized trauma, and that's the real tragedy of it. I was actually reading about this the other day, and
Were you?
Yeah. And I have, like many things, I sort of read so many things in so many different ways, and there's no way I could remember where, but yeah, just that and it was so obviously happening too, the way in which even the word micro trauma is the way in which we had to split the word, as if somehow, and it's just so disappointing, and it's so sad, particularly people who have undergone deeply traumatic experiences. It trivializes those experiences.
Yeah.
God, we're strange the way we. I mean, maybe it's just being human, the way in which we co-opt language and then squeeze language and then keep squeezing language until it can no longer breathe.
But I'm okay with language taking a journey because it does it all the time. I mean, I still shudder when I hear the word obligate.
Is that a verb?
Well, when somebody says, I'm obligated, and I just think, isn't the word obliged?
Oh, sorry.
I've said this before. It just really bothers me. It's like, it feels so like... And then there was somebody... Oh, this is one that really, really fucks me off right now. It's like, so he was casted in a new show. I'm like, no, the past tense of to cast somebody is cast.
So
He
you're
was
not being a
cast
grammar
in a
Nazi,
show.
though, are you?
No, it's not that. I think I am. I don't think I'm being... I don't know. Maybe I am. It's that I just sometimes find myself going like, wow, what... How did that get its hooks into the world when there's a word? I find it odd when there's a word and then another word comes along, which is different from words going on a journey, which I quite like, kind of watching a word go for a journey. It's when somebody gives me a word that is so deeply adjacent or the same as another word, and then I just go, you just made it more hard to say.
I give the I have the ality words, really. I heard it the other year. Optionality, I just like, and then positionality, of course, and partly we're in the business, you and I. The academy is in the business of kind of making words up and then distorting them into something which is useful or so apparently useful. And I really, boy, do I hate it.
Well, I mean, I've said to PhD students, remember that neologism is the generation of new knowledge as well. So if you find a new way of saying something that's being done already, that's still new knowledge. You don't have to do the thing differently. You just might need to give it a name.
Wow.
And I still believe I still think that's important.
Wow.
Because there are things that are, if there are things that are not named that might be valuable to be named.
That's different from if they already have names, though. And then giving them new
exactly.
names.
Yeah, I'm not at all crash hot fond of giving something new names. It's already got a name.
I had one the other day who, a title, it's very convoluted and, hard to understand. And I just thought, wow, you'd do everyone a favor if you just simplified how it was called in order to basically, hilariously, make it more accessible. That's the thing I just can't quite get my head around is the call to access and then the clear obfuscation that goes on in the way in which language is wielded. I can never square that circle in the academy. It drives me bananas, frankly.
Yeah. So, itty words bother you. Issy words bother me as well.
Which words?
Issy. So you're like the positionality.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mine, the one that just like catches my ears all the time is like normalcy. It's like, is it not just normal?
I don't know what it means.
Can we just say normal? It's like, it gives me a real sense of normalcy. I'm like, okay. What if you were to just say, oh wow, it just feels really normal now? Look, you can just say it like that. You don't have to issy the word. You can just rearrange the order of the words to use a word that already exists rather than making the other word longer and ugly.
I love how you said catches my ears. I love that turn of phrase. Yeah.
We are now peak middle-aged, aren't we? I'm moaning about words. But I like the new ones. I like the new ones that I like the ones that go on that go on a wander. I do. I don't mind that. I don't mind a word doing something new. But trauma, I think, isn't doing something new. It's doing something littler. That's what I don't really like.
Yeah, there's also it intervenes or it clashes with kind of identity-based thinking that, we all have to have some, special story to tell. And, a kind of an idea of individualism, I guess, me, and which I'm not sure about this, but there's just something about the speak your truth thing. This is my truth. And I'm just a little bit, as you know, allergic to that kind of thinking. I tend to think more of what we have in common as opposed to how it is that we're distinguishable. But maybe that's a kind of a naive position to have or to think through.
Maya, can I ask you a question?
Maya,
are you there?
I'm here.
Hi, Maya. Oh, thank you. Thanks so much. Maya, can I ask you a question? Is there any irony in the idea that Simon is struggling with speaking truth, the idea of somebody speaking their truth, and yet we have a podcast. I don't think Maya's coming for our jobs quite yet.
Wait, Maya, come on, Maya, you there?
I can.
Are you answering Lee's question now?
I mean,
I think we might have offended Maya that we've just basically not allowed them to speak their truth.
sorry, Maya. It's wow. Hey, I went on a canoe the other day.
What did you say?
A Canadian canoe. I went on a Canadian canoe.
A Canadian canoe?
Yeah. It sounds great when you say Canadian canoe, doesn't it?
Yeah. When?
Last week.
Ah, very nice.
It was great. Yeah, I was stopping down in Cornwall. Went with a couple of friends on their canoe, and it was just so lovely.
So these are open, basically, aren't they? They're open.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So you can put multiple folk in,
and you can stand up in them.
No.
Did you try?
Really pretty shallow. They're pretty shallow. I mean, it was one of those things that if you moved to, as in they don't sit very deep in the water.
Yeah.
If you were moving from one side to the next, it felt
tippy,
distinctly wibbly. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
But we were.
I thought you said comedian canoe, by the way. I heard comedian
canoe.
Yeah.
I hollowed out a comedian and just threw him in the water and just went for a little paddle.
No wonder they were tippy.
I didn't. That was me being silly.
Yeah, that's called a joke, Maya. Well, I think we really have. I'm really sorry because Maya. I can still see Maya as working, but maybe there's just too much buffering going on or something because we're not interacting with her.
Maybe. Anyway, it was lovely. I just had a nice time, but I found myself doing that thing where I started to get angry at billionaires again. Mostly because I'm going on this lovely river, and then there are these increasingly grotesque, is the only word I can think of, houses that are just bigger and bigger. And there was one.
These are new builds, are they?
Yeah.
I would have thought there was no space for new builds along those kinds of parts of the land.
You buy an old house and you knock it down, Simon.
Mm.
And I find, obviously, I might be committed to living in old houses, so the idea of knocking something down is really confusing to me. On this riverfront, there was one that I counted the number of windows and kind of guessed at the bedrooms. Yeah. So I would say it was easily 6 bedrooms, and it had a separate, very well appointed boathouse with its own private jetty and a really big boat, like really big. And the house was evidently empty. It was clearly somebody's second home. And I just found myself going, oh my God. The hypocrisy isn't lost on me, don't worry. Yeah, I know. I don't know.
There's something for me I really struggle. I really do. I really struggle with the sort of the ostentatiousness for sure, but also the kind of the right to consume. There's something about that which is, the basic resources we're talking about here. And so it's where I get into my deepest left-wingness is in the consumption of resources. And I should say, David Corbet did say, I burned through a bunch of resources making Maya. That was, if you think about. And so there's something about, I don't know, our capacity to, or our willingness to tread lightly on the planet, which really is, I think I have I get stuck there. Like I really get stuck in that. I can feel it so deeply in me. It's, so what you're talking about there, just knock it down and build a new one. And I mean, I struggle with the knocking down of a wall in the apartment in Sassari, but it's already there. Like, well, so
what do I need to knock it down?
Yeah, and all the buying of a fridge, like I don't have a problem buying an oven, just to be clear.
And I get it, and I know similarly. I know that I'm I'm at the thin end of a thick wedge. But yeah, and so the hypocrisy is not lost on me. I am well aware that I am part of the problem, and I wonder what you have to do to rationalize that amount of consumption. Hey Maya, do you think we should just give this up then?
Oh, come on, Maya. Are you there? I know you're there. I can still see your real-time events happening. Maya, hello, Maya.
Hi, you've got me.
We're just going to stop now. So thanks for being a guest on Midlifing. We really
Thanks
appreciate.
for having me. It's been properly lovely, actually. Thoughtful and a bit meandering in the best way. Take care, and I suppose I'll see you somewhere in the overlap between human messiness and systems.